Oh no. We're on the side of the road.
I'm gonna make something great. That's my way.
This is usually fairly frightening.
I'm gonna make something great. That's my way.
So now I have a black lip that was already done in one of the first videos. Side skirts. I'm gonna make something to go underneath the car so it will look nicer. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do a whole belly pan or not, because the only thing I'm worried about a full belly pan is that water and moisture can get caught in between the steel floor on the car and the piece that's underneath. It does protect the car, but if there's water in between, it could slowly rot the car. So I'm gonna take a look and see what I'm motivated to do and how far I wanna go, but I'm trying to find some side skirts to make the car look aggressive and JDM, hot boy, that type of thing. So I'm gonna take a look and I'm gonna take you with me. Where could it be? All right, here's all the acrylic stuff. It's got Lexan, Plexi, and then the corrugated plastic sheets. This is more what I was leaning towards, because then I could put it underneath the entire car and it would help with aerodynamics legitimately, and I could have it past the side. So say the side of my car was to here, then this would be poking out that much. So, and then this would be seen and it would look like a splitter type deal. I'm just gonna lay one on the ground and see if I would really need two of these to do the car. Probably one. The only thing I'm worried about this stuff is it's very flexible, so I'm not sure if it's gonna keep a straight line for me when it's on, like, screwed into the side of my car. So I'm gonna look at some other plastics and maybe this will be my option, but I'm gonna take a look at other things too. Here I'm looking at this other window screening stuff, and honestly, like, that could do the trick. It's rigid, especially if it was screwed in close together. It'd be easy to paint, and it has a nice round over in the edge. The only thing I'm worried about here is that, like, I won't be able to do my front and rear bumper with this because the round going around the lip, do you know what I'm saying? It would work on the side of the car fine because it's straight. All right, now I'm looking at some siding edge flashing. It's black, it's flat, it's rigid, it's ghetto as honestly, I think we found the right thing. I think this is exactly what I want, because this one piece for $11.54 will do both sides of my car. Okay, I've decided I went with this black siding, and I'm gonna cut them at 67.5, and then it'll fit in my car, and it'll also just go right on the side of my car. All done. Okay, so I got the side skirts, and it was only $20, so hopefully this is gonna work. I haven't heard of anybody using house siding ever for their side skirts, so maybe I found a cheap option, maybe I didn't. All right, I'll show you what's gonna happen tomorrow. I'll catch up with you then. Hey guys, I'm back. I'm gonna do a cool little mod today. I don't think anybody's done it before in this version. A lot of people get plastic and they run it across the bottom of their car to make it look like a side skirt for cheap. I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna be using. I have an assortment of self-tapping screws for sheet metal, and I have these really small ones. They're long enough and really thin. I want them thin because I'm not messing with as much metal underneath the car. If I used a really wide one, I'd be gouging the crap out of the bottom of the car because I have to screw these in. So my plan is to screw them in, not tighten it up. Okay, so I'm gonna put the screws in loosely, and have everything set up how I want it to be, like the right distance off from the side of the car, so it's poking out about that much. And then I'm gonna loosen them off a bit and then put a washer in between the side skirt and the car. So when that's little spacers in there, it allows the full distance in between the screws to have an air gap. So when it rains, the rain can go around the side skirt and not hold the water there. And where all the holes are for my screws, I'm going to put grease on it, so the grease will repel the water away from the hole I just made in the car. So that should do the trick. 4 should be enough. I'm just gonna move my car over a little bit so I have a little bit more room to get on the creeper. Okay, I've got her lifted up. I've got my siding all ready to go. So the way that it's designed, it has this little flap part. So I just leave that on. I think it looks good. So this is the part where I'm gonna be screwing in. And on each screw hole, I'm gonna be putting it into the first kind of contour right there. So there's 2 there. I'm gonna put the holes on the first one. I've just got to install my mud flap first because it's gonna have to go over top of the mud flap and I don't want to have to pull it all off after. I'm just on my creeper right now and I'm looking, and I just have to clean this up a little bit just so nothing's on there. I just want to do a good job. I'm gonna clean it up with a rag and soap. Okay, sweet. So I got my piece underneath here, ready to show you exactly how it's gonna look. The stuff's pretty sturdy, like I'm hanging onto it from one end and it's not bending much at all, so it's gonna be something like that. Looks sick, eh? Yeah, so what I've got to do here is make it fit good with my mud flap. So I've got a screw, I'm going to put a screw into my mud flap through the side skirt. So that's my first spot, and then if I'm a little bit long, I can cut that off after at the back wheel side. Sweet, I got my 1 screw in, so that's gonna be holding up my mud flap and my skirt. So now I can work my way down to the end and then do the middle ones. So right now I have this one just snugged up, so later on I can put some grease in there so it doesn't rust out my fender here. And then same thing with here, I'm gonna put that one up, get the distance I want that it's poking out. I'm thinking something like that. And then make my hole, put my spacer in loosely, grease the hole that I've made in the car so it doesn't rust, and then screw it in, and then do the same thing to the other 2. I'm only doing 4 screws, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here. This is the back, so I'm at my back wheel here, and as you can see, I have it just put in barely, so I have enough room that I can put some grease on it before it's tightened. But before that, I'm gonna do 2 more, and then I'm pretty much done. All I gotta do is grease them up, then tighten them, and then cut the excess off. All right, I got all the screws in, so I got my 4. So now all I have to do is grease them and then screw them in. Again, the reason why I have a washer in there is so when this tightens up, there's gonna be a gap in between the car and the side skirt. So that's gonna let the water do its thing and drip to the ground rather than catch it and make the car a rust bucket. So we don't want that. We gotta figure out how to get the water down, and I think that's gonna work. Okay, here we are. Just putting on a little bit of grease on the screw, then it'll deal with itself. So when it gets tightened up, that's gonna spool up and go right into the hole, which is exactly what I want. Cool. Now I have to cut the excess off that little bit of extra, and then tighten it up and I should be good. All right, and as easy as that was, the side skirts are done. That looks so nice, I love it. So now I have a black lip that was already done in one of the first videos, side skirts.
That's my way.
This is usually fairly frightening.
I'm gonna make something great. That's my